You're in a simulation, but don't panic just yet. As scary as this might sound, this isn't the stuff of science fiction or dystopian nightmares. Instead, it's a deep realization that has been echoed throughout history by various spiritual traditions and philosophical teachings. Imagine for a moment that the world around you isn't as solid as it seems. What if reality, as you perceive it, is more like an illusion, like a projection? Embedded within this is either the key to changing your life or staying ignorant of the simulation. But before you're able to change your life for the better, we must delve into the ancient knowledge of Eastern philosophers who knew of the simulation better than anyone else. Chapter 1. Ancient philosophies knew of the simulation. In ancient Eastern philosophies, such as Hinduism and Buddhism, the concept of Maya or illusion is central to understanding the nature of existence. Maya is defined as claiming to have a good quality that one lacks. In this case, the simulation we live in is pretending to be good and necessary when it's actually holding us back. According to these traditions, the material world is transient and impermanent, and our perceptions are often clouded by ignorance and attachment. Similarly, in the allegory of Plato's cave, we're presented with a scenario where individuals are imprisoned within a cave, only able to perceive shadows projected on the wall. These shadows represent the limited understanding of reality that most people accept as truth. It's just when these people break free from the confines of the cave and step into the light of knowledge that they discover a completely new reality that was always there, just out of their reach. Enter René Descartes, a French thinker known for his famous phrase, "I think, therefore I am." Descartes concluded that our ability to think and reason is the cornerstone of our existence. In his view, the mind and consciousness go before the material world, emphasizing introspection and self-awareness as crucial to navigate our perceived reality. Even further than Descartes delved Immanuel Kant, a German philosopher who lived between 1724 and 1804. Kant's philosophy centered around the concept of the phenomenal and the noumenal world. He agreed with Descartes that our perception of reality is shaped by our senses and understanding, but he also proposed the existence of a deeper, underlying reality beyond our sensory perception, which he termed the phenomenal realm. But before we can learn more about the simulation, let's understand what the phenomenal realm consists of. According to Kant, the noumenal realm consists of the external world of objects such as trees, dogs, cars, houses, and all that we perceive in our everyday experiences. These things all exist regardless of our interpretations of them. A dog is a dog, and a car is a car, no matter what you think of them. But then he suggests that our minds filter the information we receive from the noumenal realm, leading it to create the phenomenal realm. Our minds then serve as the lens through which we perceive reality, but they also impose inherent limitations on our understanding of it. If our reality is more akin to a computer-generated simulation, a virtual construct that we perceive as the physical world, then Kant's theory acquires new meaning. It could be that both the phenomenal realm and the simulation are intertwined. The ultimate reality proposed by Kantian philosophy is, in fact, a simulated reality created by higher-order intelligence. And here's where things get sinister. Both our ancestors and present-day higher powers were aware of the simulation and openly abuse its benefits to control the masses. Chapter 2. The elites manipulate the simulation. Guess who grasps the tricks of the simulation to control the world? None other than the elites of human civilization. The richest banking families, the sturdiest economies, and stable world governments actually believe that the masses lack the intellect to govern themselves. They concluded that it's necessary to guide and control the collective will by manipulating the simulation to their benefit. This belief, along with their centuries-long understanding of how the simulation works, allows them to control the masses to always keep themselves in power. No professional knows this better than the politician. Allying themselves with propagandists, politicians use the power of repetition, wielding it to plant seeds of consent in unsuspecting minds. Through relentless repetition of key phrases, slogans, and talking points, politicians aim to create a sense of familiarity and credibility among the public. But their end game is to gradually shape public opinion to garner support for their policies and initiatives. This technique exploits the psychological phenomenon known as the mere exposure effect, which suggests that people tend to develop a preference for things they are repeatedly exposed to. But perhaps the darkest part of this manipulation is its invisibility to the average person. Like puppeteers pulling strings from behind the scenes, the elites exert their influence in secret, working in the shadows while keeping up the illusion of democracy and freedom. Yet there's something preventing them from controlling everything completely. As we'll discover later, the simulation can only work with the consent of the people. People need to agree to be fooled by the elites. That's why the cabal, or those seeking to maintain control, understand the power of consent. They subtly reveal their plans through various media channels, social media, newspapers, even reality shows, hoping to gain our unwitting agreement. These are rituals they created to plant subconscious suggestions into our minds. And the worst of it, most of us partake in these rituals without knowing we do, unaware that they're all part of a grander scheme. You're not supposed to notice the rituals. They adopt the guise of religion, of entertainment shows, even popular music. From the intricate ceremonies of the Olympic Games to the subtle symbolism woven into popular culture, these rituals distort our perceptions of reality. Chapter 3. Free yourself from the illusion. But there's a way around all of this. You can refuse to consent to their agenda by staying informed, questioning the narratives presented to us, and reclaiming our power through awareness. We can break free from the chains of manipulation and step into our true potential as sovereign beings. Their control is only an illusion sustained by the consent of the governed. Just like them, we individuals hold the power to shape our own reality and collectively manifest change. The realization of this inherent power can set us free from the manipulation and oppression of the elites. But what does all of this mean for you, right here and now? The barriers and limitations you experience are constructs of your mind. They can be dismantled, and you can become the master of your simulation. By cultivating mindfulness, embracing the principles of cause and effect, and fostering a sense of interconnectedness with all beings, we can transcend the limitations of our perceived reality and unlock the boundless potential that lies within us. Before we learn more, we should once again explore Eastern beliefs, like the concept of karma in Hinduism and Buddhism. Karma is the universal law of cause and effect, asserting that our actions have consequences that shape our future experiences. According to this belief, the universe operates cyclically, with each soul undergoing a continuous process of rebirth and renewal. Hinduism elaborates on this even more with the concept of dharma. These are the moral and ethical duties that govern an individual's life, guiding them toward righteousness and spiritual fulfillment. According to Hindu teachings, adhering to one's dharma contributes to the harmony and balance of the universe, ensuring order and stability in the cosmic fabric. One of the most inspiring examples of an individual who mastered control over his perceived reality through mindfulness and spiritual practices is the story of the monk Thich Nhat Hanh. Born in Vietnam in 1926, Thich Nhat Hanh became a global spiritual leader, revered for his powerful teachings on mindfulness, peace, and compassion. Thich Nhat Hanh taught that by practicing mindfulness, we can learn to live fully in the present moment, appreciating the wonders of life that are always accessible to us. He believed that through mindfulness, we could see the interconnectedness of all things, leading to deeper compassion for ourselves and every living being. His teachings often emphasized the idea that peace begins with oneself. Through understanding and loving care, we can heal our inner wounds and extend that healing to the world around us. By incorporating the practice of mindfulness into daily life, Thich Nhat Hanh showed how individuals could transcend the limitations imposed by their minds, break free from the cycle of negative thoughts and emotions, and cultivate a state of peace and clarity. He often spoke about the concept of interbeing, the recognition that we are all interconnected and that our actions have a profound impact on the world around us. This principle echoes the law of karma and the importance of living with awareness of our actions' effects. But how do these diverse beliefs and philosophies tie into the overarching theme of controlling our simulated reality? Well, they all share a common thread: the recognition of the power of the mind and consciousness in shaping our experiences. These teachings offer valuable insights into how we can navigate and influence our perceived reality, and they serve as the base needed to reach a higher level of understanding. Chapter 4. Mastering the simulation. Ready to reach that level? Time to get some concepts straight. First, if we're indeed living in a simulation, then the rules of this reality may not be as fixed or immutable as they appear. Just as a video game player can manipulate their virtual environment through their actions and intentions, so too can we influence our reality through our thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors. Hermetic teachings of old were based around this concept. These are a set of philosophical beliefs that have influenced most modern spiritual traditions in history. Among his core principles was the principle of mentalism. The all is mind, the universe is mental. This principle asserts that the fundamental nature of reality is mental or consciousness-based. From these came techniques of visualization and manifestation. Visualizing involves mentally picturing or imagining the desired outcome as if it has already occurred. Visualizing outcomes we wish to experience and imbuing them with emotion and intention, we can send powerful signals to the universe, guiding the simulation to align with our desires. This process activates the creative potential of the mind, allowing us to attract and manifest circumstances that are in harmony with our visualized desires. Manifestation, on the other hand, involves not only visualizing, but also cultivating a deep sense of belief and expectation that the desired outcome will materialize. It requires maintaining a positive mindset, free from doubt or resistance, and trusting in the inherent power of the universe to bring our intentions to fruition. This is also explored again in Hinduism through the practice of sankalpa. You set a clear intention or resolve and visualize it with unwavering focus, as if you were staring into a candle. Similarly, in the teachings of the law of attraction, the concept of like attracts like suggests that by aligning our thoughts and emotions with our desires, we can attract corresponding experiences into our lives. The second key aspect of controlling this simulation is understanding the role of belief and expectation. Just as our thoughts shape our reality, so too do our beliefs color our perceptions and experiences. If we hold limiting beliefs or doubts about our ability to control our reality, we inadvertently create barriers that block our manifestations from coming to fruition. It's precisely this principle that the elite use to hold us back. They influence our beliefs and make us limit ourselves from achieving freedom. The third axiom you should master to manipulate the simulation that's our reality is the principle of the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. This universal principle reminds us of the interconnectedness of all beings and the importance of compassion and empathy in our interactions, but it contains another truth about the simulation. Energies can benefit or destroy us depending on how we use them. Have you ever noticed when someone wrongs you, and for whatever reason something bad seems to happen to them later? Not a coincidence. When you resent or wish evil unto others, that negative energy can boomerang back to you and cause unintended consequences, like suffering for yourself. This also means that if you wish good upon others, sustain a healthy lifestyle, strong beliefs, and reject negativity, you'll receive that back from others. The Golden Rule highlights the responsibility we have towards one another. The powers that be in our society seek to keep this knowledge hidden, perpetuating dogmas and distractions to prevent us from realizing our true potential. They do this by enforcing relentless promotion of consumerism and excess, encouraging people to pursue goods instead of personal development. They reinforce cultural norms and stereotypes and propagate fear and division by demonizing marginalized groups and exaggerating external threats. Chapter 5. Coincidences aren't coincidences. Once you become aware of all the areas of society where the illusion is present, you'll start exerting greater control over your reality. The realization that we might be living in a simulation can be liberating, but also mind-boggling, so much so that even by listening to these revelations, your mind might not be able to believe it yet. So, through what other signs does our reality give away the simulation we live in? Simple. The frequency of coincidences that defy the odds taking place in our lives. In a world governed solely by randomness and probability, the likelihood of two events coinciding precisely in time, space, or meaning is typically low. To put it better into perspective, if two independent events each have a 1 in 10 chance of occurring, then the chance of them happening at the same time is 1 out of 100 times. We know this thanks to statistical principles and empirical observations of cause and effect relationships. In a natural and physical world, coincidences should be rare occurrences, anomalies that catch us off guard, yet for many of us, these synchronicities seem to happen far too often to be mere chance. Many people report seeing signs of the universe through numerology. Consider the phenomenon of encountering the same numbers many times in a day, such as 333. Seeing this number many times in different areas of your life symbolizes paying attention to your intuition and encouraging you to trust your instincts. We can't simply dismiss the low probability of spotting this number in your phone, then at work, and then at home. There has to be a meaning behind all of these coincidences. Scholars of the simulation think they're glitches in the simulation, but others interpret them as messages from their higher selves, those who broke free from the simulation, a reminder to stay vigilant. In the end, what purpose do they serve? They are wake-up calls that prompt us to question the nature of our reality, so always remain open-minded and attuned to these signs. The interesting thing to note here is that technology and societal advances have improved our lives in many ways, but also blinded us more to the existence of this simulation. We're so glued to screens that spotting the signs of the universe gets harder every day. Guess what civilization was more aware of the simulation than present-day humanity? Chapter 6. Ancient magicians mastered the simulation. Our ancestors, the shamans and magicians of old, were more advanced in this than we are today. No, they weren't primitive. That's just another manifestation of the illusion to prevent us from connecting with the ancestral wisdom of our precursors. If you're still skeptical, think of the pyramids of Egypt and the Great Wall of China. What better testament to ancient advanced knowledge than the construction of impossible structures with the technology and resources available back then? This is evidence of a civilization far more sophisticated than we often give credit for, both spiritually and technologically. The true magicians of back then understood the concept of ether and used it to construct amazing structures and millennia-old civilizations. This ether, as described by Napoleon Hill in Think and Grow Rich, is a neutral field brimming with potential, waiting to be shaped by the intentions of a soul filled with burning desire. And if you're still skeptical, we left the most convincing part of the evidence for last, the most intriguing phenomenon in medicine and psychology. Can you imagine what it is? Chapter 7. The Placebo Effect. It's the placebo effect. This is the remarkable ability of the mind to influence the body's response to treatment, even when that treatment lacks any medicinal value. Just believing in the efficacy of a treatment can trigger a cascade of physiological and psychological responses that lead to healing. Studies have shown that patients who receive a placebo alongside standard medical care often experience greater improvements in symptoms compared to those who receive medical care alone. On a more biological level, scientists discovered that when someone believes they are receiving a beneficial treatment, their brain releases neurotransmitters such as endorphins and dopamine, which are associated with feelings of well-being and pain relief. These neurotransmitters can then modulate various physiological processes such as immune function and inflammation, leading to improvements in health and well-being. By harnessing the power of the mind through positive thinking, visualization, and relaxation techniques, we can tap into the innate healing potential within ourselves. If mind over matter holds true, then proving the objectivity of our reality becomes a hard task. Modern science struggles with these mysteries, but that's because they assume we live in natural solid world, a premise that we now know is fundamentally flawed. The concept of spiritual healing transcends the boundaries of religion and faith, with countless individuals experiencing miraculous recoveries after visiting spiritual healers, whether in temples, mosques, churches, or other sacred spaces. But who or what is the true source of this healing power? It's all placebo. Every religion claims the efficacy of its own spiritual practices and the divine intervention of its respective deities. Yet if each faith holds its own version of truth, how can they all be simultaneously correct? At the end of the day, realizing we're in a simulation is a wake-up call to question the nature of our reality and the forces that shape it. By cultivating awareness and discernment, we can resist the subtle influences of the elite and reclaim our power as sovereign beings. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, feel free to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.